Hello everybody, and welcome to the first feature match for the Thwackey division. My name is Spades, and joining me today is Big Mac Zach.
Hello, everyone. Glad you could have me.
Yep, glad to have you here too. So, we begin with the first matchup between the Kansas City Komalas and the Mexico Mimikyus. We have the lineups here. We have Dialga, Landorus, Meowstic, Tapu Fini, Volcarona, Driftblim, Machamp, Alcremie, Grookey, Mandibuzz, and Dedenne versus the Mexico Mimikyus and their Necrozma Duskmane, Urshifu Single Strike G-Max, Porygon 2, Rotom Heat, Togekiss, Gourgeist, Riolu, Piloswine, Wartortle, Fletchinder, and Impidimp. So, first impressions of the matchup.
Um, at first glance, I think that Landorus Therian puts in mad work against the Mimikyus. I think Necrozma Duskmane is kind of in a rough place here in terms of what the Komalas bring to it. Volcarona on top of Landorus plays a big threat. Dialga having Earth Power, I believe, plays another massive threat.
Yeah, this matchup I think looks really bad for the Mimikyus
I
because
would agree.
your best way to hit Dialga is Urshifu, and Landorus completely shuts down Urshifu. Well, not completely, but it shuts it down enough to the point where like you could run a weakness policy Dialga and it's gonna go to town.
Absolutely. I do think Komalas do have some weird niche interactions they could do. I do see a Driftblim right there, and I do see a Grookey.
Yeah, there's also a Tapu Fini with terrain.
Yeah, also that too. So either way, Unburden looks very likely. It could put in some work in terms of outspeeding the Urshifu. But as far as speed tiers go, Mimikyu is kind of lacking that area as well.
Right. It looks like they want to go for a Trick Room approach in this matchup, despite Dialga. Well, Dialga's not the slowest thing, but I can definitely see them wanting to go into Trick Room here.
I would agree with you. Meowstic plays another big role, I think, for Komalas. I think setting up screens to further hinder any potential Dynamax targets that Mimikyus has kind of just blows them out of the water if it's set up correctly.
Right, and Meowstic also gets like Charm as well, so like
Yeah.
it really hurts Urshifu and Necrozma. I think
Um,
Togekiss might play a big role here as well for
yeah, I
the
think.
Mimikyus. Just because
Yeah,
if you're
I'm
weak
not
to
sure.
ground with Necrozma, Togekiss negates that at least.
Yeah, I think the redirection could be decent here. I also think even an offensive Togekiss wouldn't be the worst thing. Um,
Yeah. You
it
get
does hit
like
a few.
you get max what? You get how are you hitting the Tapu Fini with a max Togekiss though? I guess that's my only worry.
Essentially, you're basically just clicking max airstream and
Yeah.
hoping to further outspeed it with anything else on your team. Gorge guys could be interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
I do
I
like the
think
special attackers more here. I don't know if
yeah,
you agree with me that. Like the special attackers are Rotom Heat and Togekiss, but Landorus makes like physical attackers not that as great. And
mhm.
and Rotom Heat actually does look really nice here.
Yeah.
As
I would
long as
probably
you
say
kill Fini.
yeah. I think Rotom is probably the biggest threat to the Kamala's entire team. I think probably the best Dynamax candidate for the Mimikyus. Just 'cause I think Overheat's a really bad move unless you do set up a nasty plot.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you need the
so
nasty plot anyway, I feel like.
yeah, you get one good use out of it.
Mhm.
So I think Dynamaxing it could be key here. But as far as what I believe they would bring, I would foresee Komalas just bringing Dialga because I think it does have a solid matchup
Mhm.
overall. Landorus for sure, Tapu Fini. From there, I could even see Volcarona playing a good part here. I would like to see Driftbloom. And then that sixth slot's kind of iffy for me.
I think it's the first six.
First six.
I think you bring Dialga, Lando, Meowstic, Fini, Volcarona, Driftbloom. I think
That would make sense.
they line up the best, in my opinion, into what the opponent has.
Right.
And then if I'm the Mimikyus, I'm bringing Necrozma Duskmane, but I may want to go consider special Necrozma Duskmane. Like, Intimidate really hurts, but Necrozma Duskmane does not have a bad special attack stat.
I would love to see a Meteor Beam Necrozma.
I don't think it gets Meteor Beam, but it does get Flash Cannon and Earth Power.
Does it not get... Well, I'll check that later.
Yeah.
I think Porygon... That would be beautiful. I think Porygon 2 probably comes. Because, like you said, I think Trick Room approach is probably the best way for them to gain some sort of speed advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Togekiss comes for ground redirection. Yeah. Rotom Heat.
Do you bring Piloswine?
Honestly, I think I'm not sure calc-wise, but I wonder what an Ice Shard can do to Landorus. I know Mamoswine can Oko it. I don't know Piloswine.
It does a lot.
I would assume it does a lot as well.
It's pretty bulky, but I guess the only fear is it just dies to Dialga, right?
Mm-hmm. So I would say that's a good candidate, personally. I don't think Urshifu should be brought here. I just don't see what it does, really.
I actually agree with you. This is one of the only matchups where Urshifu doesn't look very good.
Riolu, as far as support and coaching, again, like you said, physical side, there's really no point unless you're trying to make the Intimidate become neutral.
And the coaching defense boost doesn't look relevant at all, given that if we're assuming the Komalas are going to go for a special-based approach.
I think maybe Gorge guys, because I don't really see Wartortle, Fletchinder, Impidimp coming.
Yeah. Because, like, Fletchinder is whenever you need to barely outspeed things and, like, get Tailwind for yourself, but Drifblim can set that immediately. Landorus has the max Airstream. So, I don't see Fletchinder being as good. Wartortle is interesting. Just definitely. How are we killing Dialga? That's, like, the main problem I see here.
I don't think there's really a consistent way to do so, aside from getting lucky with Piloswine. I think you just have to do chip damage with multiple things.
Yeah, and Rotom Heat, it looks like, will be overworked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright, so let's get on to the matchup. Alright, here we have Game 1. We have the Mexico Mimikyus on the left and Kansas City Komalas on the right. So, looking at the matchup, we got the Komalas pinpoint correct.
Yes, we did. The other team, on the other hand, we kind of butchered. Looks like we only got half of it predicted correctly.
Yeah, the lack of Rotom is what surprises me the most.
I would agree with you.
Fletchinder did end up coming, so maybe we will see Tailwind, Urshifu, Tailwind, Necrozma.
And it could just work.
Yeah.
It's not a bad attempt.
As long as you kill Dialga, that's all you need to do. Alright, let's jump into the game. So let's kick things off. We have the Necrozma Duskmane and Riolu lead for the Mimikyus, matched by Meowstic and Volcarona.
So it does look like Riolu might be going for coaching here.
It does. Helping Hand Meowstic. Oh, he protects the Riolu.
Very strange protect.
Oh. That's...
mad damage, but it does proc the policy. I wonder if the Riolu is sashed in this case.
Right, the Eviolite's probably on the P2.
It is just something to consider, considering Fletchinder's also here, so I wonder if that's...
Alright, so we see Landorus gets the Intimidate off. We see Protects from both sides. Charm is revealed on Meowstic.
Charm, yeah.
And... Oh, he was going for the copycat Trick Room.
That's not bad. Kind of a smart play.
We see Charm again. Coaching this time.
There it is.
Landorus does massive damage. And it doesn't KO, huh?
But the coaching did at least reverse the Intimidate, so that's not bad.
Yeah, but now you're from policy activated to equal.
It's neutral, yeah.
Follow Me comes out.
Unfortunately, it won't do much against an earthquake.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Crosma
kill.
Duskmane's still alive, and
It's a
this should
rocket.
be the end of Landorus, and it is. Alright. So it's Dialga versus the world.
See, like we said, without Rotom, this is the threat, and he still has 3 turns of Dynamax.
Right. Uh, I'd imagine this Togekiss just drops, yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
And Dialga with
Let's
this
see.
defense boost. Psychic Fangs is an
Oh
interesting.
wow!
And the crit did 11%. That does not bode
Psychic
well.
Fang, Psychic Fangs breaks screens, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. So, okay, predicting
So,
the Meowstic screens.
yeah,
It's good tech.
not. So Dustman does go down, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Half's the P2.
And it's P2 versus Dialga. So, like we predicted, the Dialga was the main threat, and what was brought could not deal with Dialga.
Surprisingly, oh god, here comes the recover plays.
Yeah, but I think Dialga just has the better damage output here to close it out. I don't see how P2 can Ice Beam the Dialga down.
They would have to Ice Beam freeze.
Yeah, which isn't impossible.
Oh, it happens, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just whittling it down. There it is.
Everyone's rooting for the P2
Oh.
here, because, like, it'd be so funny if P2 won
It would
this
be,
fight.
I would feel very bad for the Komalas, but it does happen.
Roar of Time finishes off
there
the
it
game.
goes.
So game 1 to the Komalas. And welcome back. So that was a very close game 1, although it didn't feel that way. I feel like once Dialga got going, it was kind of over.
Yeah, definitely reversed it. As far as Mimikyu strategy, I definitely don't think Riolu should make an appearance game 2. I just don't see the value there.
I mean, the value is to copycat Trick Room, but if your opponent is going to use Meowstic, you're not going to get your copycat Trick Room regardless.
Mhm.
So,
I definitely think Porygon 2 does play a role in terms of tanking hits. It did play pretty defensively even against Dialga. I just think Rotom Heat really should have been brought to this matchup in general.
yeah, I agree with you.
I think Dustmane Dynamaxing with weakness policy, I guess that's going to be their main form of offensive output. So I guess you just have to figure out a way to defend that better.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Urshifu has to come here because it's the only way you can get actual damage on Dialga.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can bring Urshifu in the back, maybe that's how you adjust.
Right. I think Komalas will probably bring a very similar lead. I think Meowstic, no matter what, would be a solid lead regardless.
Just does so much for the team.
Really not much else to say about Komalas. I mean, I think they know what they're doing as far as their game plan.
Like, they understand that they just need to get Dialga in a position where the opponent's max is over and they don't have the damage output to kill Dialga. I mean, that's essentially what we just saw, was the early Dynamax from Necrozma Duskmane, killed 3 of your Mons, but you did enough damage to Necrozma to where it was irrelevant.
Right.
So
I agree.
Yeah, I think we'll get a similar game from the Komalas. The Mimikyus really need to adjust, and I think that adjustment starts with bringing Urshifu in the back.
I would agree.
Alright, let's head on to game 2. Alright, we're here with game 2, so let's see how the Mimikyus adjust, and let's see how the Komalas play again, because their strategy is very simple. Alright. So we begin with Togekiss Necrozma lead this time, and we see Feeny Driftblim, so we do see a switch up.
So this definitely isn't bad. Acrobatics surprised me. Oh, the miss is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, missing the Necrozma, and Necrozma sets Trick Room.
So Tailwind will be relevant if it does carry that on Driftblim.
Yeah. Protect Feeny. Follow me. Max Steel Spike does nothing through the Protect. And a Strength Sap. So Driftblim reveals its tech. So this team is very built to deal with the physical threats.
Yes, it is. Intimidate goes off.
Yep, switching out. Follow me
Just
again.
and follow me.
Steel Spike. These defense boosts are good against the Landorus.
Yes, it is. Not bad. Barely lives to crit.
Protect the Landorus. Yeah, I like this play a lot. Stall out the max. Very nicely done. The crit?
Crit?
It's laughable damage.
Yeah.
And then the acrobatics. So, I think the Komalas are in a great spot here. You killed your opponent's Mon, and you stalled out their max.
So they do bring Riolu again.
Coaching, okay.
So now we just got a +4?
Yeah, that's +4. But that +4 is irrelevant against Dialga and Tapu Fini.
And it is a Sash Riolu, so that does answer our question from game 1.
Yeah, it does. But the Strength Sap.
That is kind of brutal.
The tech here by the Komalas is great. You have Meowstic and you have Drifblim to deal with Necrozma.
So just so many ways to hinder it,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
And you KO2 your opponent's Mons. And you have a full team. Ally Switch Duck. Strength Sap.
I did just notice, though, it is a trace.
Yeah.
Porygon. It's not a download. So that is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Trick Room does end up going up. Where Necrozma wants to play in. But you get to notice this accuracy drop could actually become relevant here.
Yes, it could.
Because you cannot switch out, you cannot max.
I definitely think this Porygon's in a really bad spot. It's facing 2 special defensive tanks right now, and it seems its only attack is Ice Beam so far.
Yeah, you're not hitting Fini with an Ice Beam. And, yeah, Drifblim and Tapu Fini just going to set up all over this Necrozma. Protect the Fini.
Yeah.
Oh!
Oh, it does get a freeze. That might be slightly big.
And hit a Rock Slide.
That's still that would still take another Rock Slide and Ice Beam to kill the Drifblim.
Yeah, but the freeze preventing it from moving. His Drifblim's going to go down.
There it is. Okay.
Rock Slide connects again despite the accuracy drop, but another accuracy drop.
Yeah, Rock Slide's pulling miracles right now.
Yeah, but there is Dialga, and
big boy.
There is no way this Dialga is gonna die this game.
Max Flare is revealed. That's interesting.
From Flamethrower, I'm guessing?
I believe so. Maybe Fire Blast. I guess if they're just looking for damage output. But
yeah. Rock Slide connects again. I don't know how this hitting with 0.6 times accuracy. That's pretty funny, actually.
That's actually really mad. Yeah. It does live to warn another attack drop. It's not looking good.
No, this game looks like a wrap. The Komalas really came out this week. Missed this one. Still Strike. That's funny.
It'll hit the Rock Slides.
Yeah, he hits Rock Slide, but he misses the...
yeah. So that'll be game.
Yeah, so that is a 3-0 win in this game for JP Koala, and that is a 2-0 match win. Alright, so what a way to start off the Season 3 feature matches with a 2-0 victory for the Kansas City Komalas. What really clicked for them this matchup, do you think?
I think it was just them abusing Dialga. I think they knew that they didn't really have an answer. And you use that to their advantage. I think Landorus doing a massive amount of chip damage to their entire team with just Earthquake alone put in a solid amount of work.
Yeah, I would agree. And also, like, the preparation to deal with Necrozma and Urshifu, the two big physical attackers, and you have Charm on the Meowstic, and you have Strength Sap on the Drifblim. Both worked very nicely in both games to really minimize the damage output from the Mimikyus, so... It was a well-played game for the Komalas.
Definitely doesn't sound like a fun time for the Mimikyus.
No.
I think where Mimikyus should have at least tested with Game 2 would have been Urshifu, like we discussed. I think that was just their biggest source to have something semi-fast. I think they tried to rely on Trick Room the second game, after seeing that it didn't really do much Game 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think both games for the Mimikyus just went down to damage output. You had
Hmm.
no way to do enough damage to Dialga, and that's ultimately what decided the game.
Yeah, I definitely do see potential with Mimikyus. I do hope that they can bring it back for future weeks.
Yeah, I hope so as well. It's a really cool team with how many is that? 6 not fully evolved.
Hmm.
It's a really cool team because all of them do different things.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, thank you guys for watching. Uh, leave a comment, like the video, and stay tuned for more. Any final words?
Um, really just wish both you guys luck. Hopefully Komalas can continue pulling through.
Yeah, these are both very exciting teams in the Thwackey division. So I wouldn't be surprised to see either of these teams in the playoffs. I
Oh
think
yeah,
both
it's
teams are really strong.
yeah.
All right, and with that, bye guys.